Usually, the sound of a tennis ball is crisp and rhythmic. Thump, hit, thump, hit. But tonight, in a stadium home to more legends than anywhere else on earth, that rhythm died. The ball hit Alex Eala's strings, and for one split second, the world just slowed down. Everything froze because Rafael Nadal, the king of clay who has known no fear for 20 years, stood up. Not to cheer, not to nod. He stood because his jaw dropped so low that 2 billion viewers across the globe saw the pure shock written all over his face. No one saw what came next. The headline should have been about legacy and another easy Spanish victory. But the universe did not care about the script. Eala, a 20-year-old from Manila, told her whole life she was too small and too unknown, and too far from the major tennis capitals, was about to rip that script into tiny pieces. This isn't just a sports story. This moment was so shocking that Nike, the most powerful sports brand on earth, trashed their entire marketing plan, fired up the printers, and crowned a new face of tennis in real time. And Rafa could only watch, just like us. Let's go back to the moment that door finally opened. To understand the shock, you must understand the silence before it. Eala walked onto center court not with a roar, but a whisper. The crowd was already standing for Nadal. Spanish flags waved everywhere. Every camera was locked on the 22-time Grand Slam champion. Announcers were rehearsing lines about his grit and return to glory. Nobody was looking at the young girl in the corner. No one mentioned the girl who woke up at 3 in the morning back in the Philippines, just so her family could see her qualify. This girl was rejected by every major academy in Europe because her ranking was considered too low. The girl who slept on a friend's couch for 6 months just to pay for coaching. That's the thing about underdogs. They hear everything. Every doubt whispered in the hallways. Every article calling her a nice story but no real threat. Every time a star walked past her in the locker room without a glance. Eala collected those moments like ammo. On this night, her gun was loaded. The first set was a masterclass in tension. Nadal did his thing. He hammered her backhand and dragged her to the net. He tried to break her spirit with those heavy, looping forehands that crushed the careers of men twice her size. But stats don't show everything. Replays miss the truth. Every time Nadal hit a winner, Alex didn't look away. She didn't shake her head. She studied her strings, adjusted her grip, and smiled. Not a polite smile, a knowing smile, the kind that says, "I see your pattern and I'm about to break it." Then, everything changed. At 4 games all, deuce on Nadal's serve, the point that broke the internet started. Nadal hit a drop shot that should have ended it. Most players would have quit, but Eala ran. She ran like her plane ticket home depended on it. She reached the ball and flicked a lob that hung in the air for what felt like forever. Nadal turned his back, expecting it to land out, but it hit the baseline perfectly. The crowd gasped. Nadal scrambled and hit a desperate smash, but Alex was already there. She didn't just return it. She took it on the rise, stepped inside the line, and ripped a cross-court winner that left Nadal frozen. The entire stadium fell silent, not because they were bored, but because they couldn't breathe. For the first time ever, Rafael Nadal looked at his box with an expression no one had seen. Confusion, pure, unfiltered confusion. But the real earthquake hit in the second set tiebreak. The media had their safety net ready. They were ready to write the headline, "Promising young player pushes Nadal but falls short." That was a nice, comfortable story. But Eala refused to play along. At 5-4, match point against her, she did something coaches will teach for 20 years. She didn't play it safe. She didn't just push the ball deep and pray for an error. She saw Nadal cheating to his forehand side, a lifelong habit, and went right at his feet. A dipping, spinning backhand return skidded so low that Nadal had to squat like a baseball catcher. His frame hit the ball. It floated long, tiebreak over, set to the underdog. That is when the king finally broke. Not his body, his mind. For one single frame that the internet would replay 10 million times, Rafael Nadal looked at the scoreboard and shook his head. Not in anger, in disbelief. He had beaten Djokovic and Federer. He had come back from career-ending injuries. But he had never faced this, a young woman with nothing to lose and everything to prove. The third set was not a collapse. It was a coronation. Eala played like she'd been living in Nadal's nightmares for years. Every angle, every red. Every time Nadal tried to shift momentum, she hit back harder. And when that final point ended, when the ball hit the back curtain, Nadal didn't even move to chase it. The sound erupting from the stadium wasn't a cheer. It was a roar of pure confusion. Strangers were hugging in the stands. Grown men were in tears because they just saw something that wasn't supposed to happen in real life. Then Nike made their move. Inside their Oregon headquarters, executives watched the same feed as everyone else. Their campaign was ready for the winner. It was supposed to be Nadal, vintage, classic, predictable. But when Eala raised her arms, the head of tennis marketing grabbed a phone and said 4 words that changed history. Burn the old campaign. Within 20 minutes, a new graphic hit every screen in Times Square. A photo of Eala, dripping sweat, eyes on fire, with one word underneath. Unstoppable. No introduction. No biography. No, please like this new player. Just a powerful statement. Nike wasn't just congratulating her. They were anointing her. They put her face right next to LeBron James, next to Cristiano Ronaldo, next to Serena Williams. They didn't ask permission. They didn't wait for the rankings to update. They crowned her. The sports world lost its mind. But here is the part of the story the highlight reels never show you. As Alex walked off the court, past the security guards and the flashing cameras, she stopped. She turned around and walked back to Nadal's bench. The cameras caught her whispering something in his ear. Microphones didn't pick it up, but lip readers went to work immediately. What she said was not a taunt. It wasn't trash talk. She looked the king of clay in the eye and said, "Thank you for teaching me how to never give up." Nadal froze for the second time that night. Then he pulled her into a hug that lasted 10 seconds. 10 seconds of passing the torch that nobody saw coming. 10 seconds where the old guard embraced the new face of the sport. When they pulled apart, Nadal whispered back, "You are not the future. You are the present." Reactions flooded in so fast that Twitter crashed for 12 minutes. John McEnroe went on live TV and said, "I've been watching tennis for 50 years. I have never seen a power shift happen in a single night like tonight." A former world #1 texted a reporter 2 words, "She is different." But the most telling reaction came from the locker room. When Alex walked in, exhausted and trembling, every player stopped what they were doing, not because they had to, because they felt it. That rare, electric energy that only surrounds an athlete who just broke a major barrier. The veterans nodded. The young players stared. And one Grand Slam champion, a woman who's beaten everyone in the draw, walked up to Alex and simply said, "The pressure is yours now. Don't drop it." But pressure? Eala has lived under pressure since she was 10 years old, practicing on cracked Manila courts while typhoons flooded the streets outside. She'd been told no so many times the word lost all meaning. She watched richer, taller, more connected players get wild cards while she scraped together travel money from GoFundMe campaigns. And every single time she got knocked down, she got right back up. Not because she was the best, but because she was the most stubborn. That stubbornness and refusal to accept reality turned a sports upset into a cultural explosion. Now the doubters are scrambling. They are pointing to rankings, calling it a fluke, saying Nadal was injured or tired or way past his prime. But here is the truth that terrifies them. Eala is just getting started. She didn't just beat Rafael Nadal. She beat the legend of Rafael Nadal. She beat the mystique, the aura, and the fear. In doing so, she sent a message to every young athlete who's ever been told they don't belong. The walls aren't real. The ceiling isn't glass. It's paper. All you need is one match, one night, one swing. But there is one final twist. A detail news anchors are afraid to say out loud. As Eala lifted the trophy and the confetti fell, as Nike's new campaign hit 1 billion screens, her phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. She opened it during the press conference, thinking it was a fan. Her face went pale. The reporter asked if she was okay. She didn't answer because the text wasn't a congratulations. It was an invitation to a private match. No cameras, no prize money, and no rankings. A match against an opponent who's never lost. A ghost from the past whose name hasn't been spoken in pro tennis for 3 years. Those 3 words made Alex's hand shake. Are you ready? The room didn't know why she had stopped talking. The world didn't know why she'd gone silent. But somewhere in the back of the stadium, a door closed. Footsteps echoed down an empty hallway, and a legend who was supposed to be retired just pulled on their sneakers for the first time in 1,000 days. The new face of tennis is crowned, but the real game hasn't even started yet. No, that isn't the end. That's the cliffhanger, the trapdoor, the moment the screen cuts to black before you see the monster in a YouTube video. That final text message is the hook for part 2. The viewer is left with their heart pounding, asking the exact same question. Is that it? And that's how you'll need to click on the next video. But since you asked, here's what happens next. The press conference ends early. Eala doesn't answer another question. She grabs her bag, ignores her agent, and locks herself in the locker room. Her hands are shaking. Not from the match, from that message. She reads it one more time. An unknown number. 3 simple words. She does the unthinkable and deletes it, but the letters are already burned into her brain. Sleep won't come tonight. The hotel room is hauntingly quiet. Her trophy sits on the bar. Then, her phone buzzes. This time, it isn't a text. It is a grainy, black and white security camera image. A figure stands on a dark tennis court at 3 a.m. It is the same court where Alex once trained. The one secret court. The figure wears a hoodie, but that stance is unmistakable. Racket held low, the weight heavy on the back foot. The ghost. A legend who walked away at their peak. No injuries, no scandals. They just vanished. Alex calls the only person she trusts. Her old coach, Lola Ben, who still trains kids on that cracked Manila court. It is 4 a.m. there. He answers instantly. You saw it too, he says. Alex freezes. What do you mean? 2. Lola Ben stays silent for a long time. Then he shares a hidden story. 30 years ago, he trained another prodigy. Same footwork, same fire, the same uncanny ability to read opponents. That prodigy vanished right before their first Grand Slam final. No explanation, no goodbye, just a note saying the game is not what you think. Ben always thought they died. But now, he is not so sure. Alex hangs up and stares at the photo. The figure holds a handwritten sign. The real championship has no cameras. Outside her window, a car engine starts, then stalls, then cranks back to life. She pulls the curtain. The street is empty, but on the sidewalk sits a single, fresh tennis ball, placed perfectly. Now Eala has a choice. Stay in the spotlight, take the Nike deals and talk shows, or walk directly into the dark. Find out who sent that text. Find the ghost. Find out why the greatest player ever truly disappeared.